Ahoy, mateys. Welcome back to Pirate Dawn on Action-a-thon or whatever. Today, we take a look at the second adventure of our friend Captain Jack Sparrow, Dead Man's Chest. Okay, I'm not gonna do the voice the whole time. But, I feel like I do need some kind of costume. Hold on a sec. There we go. That's more like it. There we go. Now I look a little less stupid. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Animation Station Cynical Sane 77. Welcome to our second adventure with Captain Jack Sparrow, Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest. Now, obviously, this movie ain't as good as Curse of the Black Pearl. However, I still think it's a very good film that is more than worthy of being a sequel. Is it as good as Curse? No. Does that make it a bad movie? No. I think Curse of the Black Pearl is great, and this movie is just really damn good. A little too long, and has a few plot holes. And again, we still have our 2 blocks of wood. But, barring all that, this is a damn good sequel. And I still have a lot of fun with this movie. In the last movie, we had Captain Barbossa. In this movie, we have Davy Jones, voiced by Bill Nighy. Probably one of his best performances ever, not to mention his effects, the way they designed him. Looks so good. Not only that, it does feel like a great continuing chapter after Black Pearl, because Jack got back the Pearl, Barbossa's dead, he gets what he wants, and he gets to have his own little happy ending. Unfortunately, it's not quite that, as then he gets a visit from Bootstrap Bill, who, yes, turns out to be alive, and is a member of the Dutchman's ghastly crew. And he comes Jack to warn him of the debt he has yet to pay to Jones. So, for the first time in his life, Jack Sparrow is afraid. So he runs to land. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Will and Elizabeth's marriage gets completely interrupted by the introduction of the main bad for the next 2 films, that being Cutler Beckett. I know a lot of people say he's a very terrible villain, but honestly, I don't think so. He rises up in power, especially after what happened to Commodore Norrington, and now he's trying to rid pirates once and for all. It's doing exactly what a sequel needs to do, raising the stakes up even higher. And I feel like on that notion, it absolutely succeeds. I think Cutler Beckett is a pretty intimidating villain. And his plan is pretty crazy, which then gets elaborated on more in At World's End, even though there is also a few retcons, but tomato, tomato. So, Will is sent by Beckett to get this compass, Jack's compass, the one that doesn't point north and actually points to the thing you desire the most. And of course, Beckett wants it so he can go find the dead man's chest. Because in this movie, we're introduced to Davy Jones, the Flying Dutchman. And no, it's not anything like the SpongeBob pirate ship, even though there probably is at least a little bit of inspiration. If not from the actual art of the original story. And it just becomes a whirlwind of adventure from there. Now, granted, this movie is a lot of standing around and talking, and more of planning things than actually doing things, but you still get a lot of really good things in here. You still have Jack Sparrow, you still have great performances, you still have great cinematography, and they keep, in a best thing about this movie is the world building. This movie does a great job building this world of pirates that they started to build in the first movie. And here it's expanded on and elaborated even more by adding Davy Jones, by adding the Flying Dutchman, by adding its cursed crew. Like, it keeps getting bigger and bigger with each film, to an extent. Yes, I will agree, this movie's too long. This movie is over 2 hours. However, unlike something like what I just reviewed last time on Cynical Saiyan 77, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, I didn't really feel the runtime until about the halfway point. Not to mention, this movie has so many different climaxes, and I agree with the Nostalgia Critic, who just recently posted his review of this movie, that they could have shortened this movie by cutting out about the first half hour. Yes, we would have missed that amazing intro for Jack Sparrow with him shooting that crow after riding a coffin down a waterfall, but I mean, it would have been worth it, because then if you started at where they ended Marooned at, the island with the cannibals, which, considering Disney, is pretty dark. If you started there, you would have a much stronger start to a movie, and it would just keep escalating. Instead of having all these other random scenes that didn't need to be there aside from exposition and plot BS. But you literally cut the first half hour out of this movie, and it's almost perfect. And also, like I said, there's a million climaxes. Like, they think they defeated the Kraken, then they haven't. Then it's round 2 with the Kraken, and they don't defeat it. And then it finally just takes down the Pearl. And then there's also stuff like they get the heart, then they fight over it. Then someone gets the heart, they continue to fight over it, and it just keeps going and going. Not to mention the multiple things that happen at the ending, which, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil. Even though I kind of already spoiled one part, you know what, screw it. This movie still has great action, it still has great designs, great cinematography, great directing, mostly great acting. And it's just a really damn good sequel. Like, yes, it's not incredible by any means, it's not a record-setting masterpiece like the first, but it's still a damn good sequel that, even if you see all those flaws, you can't help but have fun with it anyway. Not to mention, this one also has another random bar fight. Because, in the words of the Nostalgia Critic, I'm a simple man, and I love seeing bar fights break out for literally no reason. Not to mention, I like what they did with James Norrington's character being this disgraced Commodore that also, according to what Gibbs does later in exposition, explains later in exposition, that Norrington lost his job because he tried to sail through a hurricane, chasing Jack Sparrow, which, yeah, he could not afford giving him that 1 day's head start, so that was a mistake on his part. But now it's pretty much with his arc, it's all about redemption. And then with Will's arc, it's all about, completing the deal and getting what he's owed. And then for Elizabeth, it's about getting to Will, no matter what she has to go through to get there. Like, it's crazy. There's a million things going on. Somehow it balances them all out in a very unique and interesting way. So, yeah, I don't really have that many negatives with Dead Man's Chest. I still think it's a really good movie. I have a great time with it every time I watch it, especially back-to-back with Black Pearl. And while it's not as great as the first, that doesn't mean it's a piece of crap like some people on the internet love to blow it up to be. Like, seriously, the internet overreacts to everything, especially nowadays. Gen Z. But, putting all that aside, it's a damn good swashbuckling adventure that just continues the story of Jack Sparrow. What more could you ask for more than that? And if you still have a problem with that, then you don't have to watch this movie, plain and simple. But you love pirates, you love the first movie, you're gonna have a ball with this one. Not as great, but still damn good. Final verdict for Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest is I'm bouncing between a 7 and an 8. I'm not sure if I can quite call it great, because it does have so many problems, but... screw it. 7 out of 10. Highest 7 out of 10 I can give is my final verdict. This is a damn good sequel, and you absolutely need to check it out. Oh. Sorry, one slipped here. Dang good sequel, absolutely check it out if you haven't already. Now it's time to set my reputation on fire, because, we're taking a look at Outworld's End next. People call it a bad movie? So I'm about to tick off every single one of you, probably. So, yeah, stay tuned for my hot take, controversial, probably career-destroying review of Outworld's End. Arrgh. Also, the cliffhanger is really good, too.